Good morning, Trevor. Good morning, everybody. How are you going today?
Good morning, Roland. Sorry about that. Our
That's okay.
illustrious leader just got me on the call.
I did already. I've had a few phone calls within the last few minutes. And I think the concept of presence, shows that you are in a call or out of a call. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't
Mr.
know.
Hamilton is on the call. Everybody's on the call. Trevor, some exciting stuff that we're going to cover today.
Yeah.
We've got to. Some people are still joining. We normally get about 30 on this call, so I'm not sure what's happening. We've only got a handful, but hopefully people will be joining us shortly. So, Trevor, wow, just before we get started, let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. Power BI and external data. So, we're going to be looking at publishing some dashboards and looking at some quick insights and data visualization using Power BI. So for those of you who are new to this session, you would have noticed that I posted a link in the instant message or chat window. So just click on the chat button on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, and you'll see there's an HTTPS link to powerbi.microsoft.com. So when we're talking about data visualization and data insights, we are going to be using the Microsoft tool that is free to use for anybody, but if you are an Office 365 subscriber, it becomes part of your Office 365 subscription. So I know some of the people on the call are new to the call, and I would strongly recommend that they go to powerbi.com and start having a look at the tools that are available in the cloud to do analysis of large amounts of data. But Trevor, talk to me a little bit about Power BI with external data. What is this external data that I'm going to be bringing in this session today?
Okay, so we've been working this week, and I've been working with our guys, with Nick and our data scientists on Zero Practice Manager data. So Zero Practice Manager has a few reports and so forth, but everybody likes to analyze that data a bit more. So we're going to go and grab out that data, and we're going to show you how it looks and feels when you export it out, and how, it is, I think you call it structured data, but
Yes.
but I would really sort of look at it and I say it's probably really unstructured. But anyway, we'll go through that process, and I'm going to take you right through to the end where we're going to start to build and show you some reports that you're able to get out of that
Fantastic.
data.
Fantastic. So you're actually going to publish some dashboards from Zero
Yep.
Practice Manager.
Yep.
All right. So to my understanding, Zero itself has got connectors, OData connectors, and connectors that plug straight into Zero and have live data being pulled from Zero. But Zero Practice Manager, Trevor, help me understand. You had to export that data out of Zero Practice Manager?
Yeah. So if you want, I can share my screen and we'll go through that process
All right.
from start
Well,
to finish.
before we jump into that demo, I just want to recap on something that someone was asking me earlier on over the weekend with regards what is big data, and the elevator pitch for big data is about the three V's in my mind. Okay, so this is the Gartner definition of big data. And the Gartner definition of big data is high volume, high velocity, high variety information assets that demand cost-effective, innovative forms of information processing. And our goal there is to enable enhanced insights decision-making and process automation. All right. So if we look at this, really the three V's are volume, velocity, and variety. So today we're going to be bringing in large amounts of data from Zero Practice Manager at a high rate. And when we talk about variety of information, one of the things you asked earlier, Trevor, was how do we analyze other types of data? So, for example, if I wanted to do analysis on something like Facebook, okay?
Yep.
So I sent you an example, and I'll share the link again, okay? But this is from the Power BI community, and what it is sentiment analysis. It's a beautiful example because it's sentiment analysis on something that's quite topical at the moment, which is the Clinton-Trump presidential campaign that's going on in America. And if you guys click on that link, anybody who's on the call, what it'll do is it'll take you to the Power BI community, and one of the guys in the community has actually built a dashboard so you could analyze whether your business, use the same methodology that's described in this document to analyze whether your business is being perceived positively or negatively by social media at the moment. And I would call this unstructured data, whereas something that is static data that I'm putting from Zero Practice Manager, I would articulate that as high volume structured data. So for those of you who are interested in having a play around with this, because that's what it's really about, you don't know what you don't know. So we're looking at, creating complex sentiment analysis algorithms to see how you're being perceived at the moment on social media. And if for your customers, for everybody out there on the call who's got customers, and clients, and they want to know how the clients are being perceived or spoken about, I think this would be a great starting place. So what is big data? Think of the 3 V's, guys: volume, velocity, and variety. We're going to slice and dice and mash that data up together to try and reveal some secrets about our business processes. So for the last few months, we've been going on a little bit of a journey, Trevor, talking about Power BI. We said that Power BI originated or has its heritage in Excel Power Tools, Power Query, Power Pivot, some of the Excel tools. So, even the Power View and the Power Map. And these tools were designed for people who've got large amounts of data. I'm not talking about to 2,000 rows of data. If you're using the 64-bit version of Excel, I'm talking about 2 million rows of data. To look at 2 million rows of data in a spreadsheet would drive anybody crazy. However, if I use something like Power Query, it allows me to get some quick and easy insights into that data. And what we're doing then was we're analyzing some of that static data in the Excel 2013 or 2016 up to millions of rows of data. We were then creating data models in that, publishing that then, or sharing it in Office 365 through our Power BI sites. And just as I shared a dashboard with Trevor earlier regarding some work I'd done for another organization, I shared that dashboard in the same way we're going to be able to share these dashboards with your customers and give your customers some insights into their business and reveal some secrets in their business that they've never been able to do before. So today is all about having a play around, and Trevor showing me the amazing stuff that you've learned over the last week with regards to Zero Practice Manager and bringing in that structured data. So we're going to go look at publishing data from Power BI Desktop. And remember, guys, Power BI Desktop is a free tool that we download. Trevor's had this running on his desktop. He's pulled in XML files from Zero Practice Manager. What he's going to do now is going to publish those XML from Power BI. He's going to create some insights in Power BI, and then he's published it up to Office 365 to his dashboard, and he can then share that internally with his stakeholders to see how their practice management details can be analyzed. So you're sharing your desktop now, Trevor?
Sharing my desktop. So what I want to first show
Fantastic.
everybody
Over to you, sir.
Is where do you get the data out of Zero Practice Manager? So Zero Practice Manager is one of the areas. For those that don't use it, it's a practice management software, and that you use to prepare and lodge tax return, manage your workflows, and so forth like that. So, and manage your database. And a lot of our tools integrate directly with that database out of Zero Practice Manager. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to get the actual hardcore, the real data behind it. We could have gone and prepared reports and worked our way through preparing reports, but what we wanted to is get that back end data. Now, it's a little bit hidden in Zero Practice Manager. You've got to click, so just so everybody knew where I went then, I clicked on business, I went to settings, I've then jumped into staff, and then we click on to where it says upgrade your subscription, and we can see in upgrade subscription we've got a little button here called export, and then under export we click on that. So I'll click on it, it's just not going to go anywhere. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a thing it's saying it's exporting, and they're going to send me an email with that exported data. So I've already done that, otherwise we've been sitting on the phone waiting for that. And I've grabbed that data and I've put it into a folder that I've linked already with the data model, so I'm going to put into that. And we have a look at the data that comes through from here. It's just XML files, all of our clients, and if we open up that data, looking at that XML file, it's messy. It doesn't look normal to you or me. Don't know whether Roland likes looking at it. Does that make any sense to you, Roland? Just ducked off for a second. Okay, so
I haven't ducked off. Sorry. No, right. It doesn't make any sense to me.
That's okay.
For me, it's very hard to read.
It's really hard to read, and I even know what's in. I know some of the things that are in here, but I have no idea when I click on that. So what I needed to do is we needed to then generate that using a model. So we had to grab that data and create relationships and manage relationships and link all that data together. Now that was done by our team in conjunction with the Institute of Chartered Accountants, or CANS, Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand, in their Kairos project. And that's one of the data modeling tools that they've been working on. So it took quite some time, and it is proprietary information that we've then worked on and used. So if you're a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants and you haven't signed up for Kairos yet, this is where you're going to start to get a lot of this work that you the work and the groundwork that these guys are doing with their data scientists to generate that and generate these dashboards. And if you're not an Institute member or member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, I'm going to be digging in to see if you can just become a member for those purposes to get this Kairos and get these Kairos dashboards. So it makes no sense at this stage, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to then go into my data in the data model, and I'm on the dashboard version. So now I'm on Power BI desktop. I'm not in the online version. I need to, because I'm working on the analyst. And so Roland, you did a bit of sigh of relief there. So tell me what's the difference? Why do I need to do this in my desktop version?
All right. So when we want to start doing modeling of your data, it's best to download the desktop version. That way I can bring in all different sources of data. So what Trevor's got here, looking down the right-hand side of the screen, is essentially columns of data, right? So these are columns, and then, like I said, we could have up to 2 million rows. Now, what Trevor may want to do, and what we're going to do next week, Trevor, is we're going to bring in multiple data sources and start to marry up the models in the data source. So, say, for example, the date field in this spreadsheet relates to the date field in that spreadsheet.
Yep.
So I can bring in multiple spreadsheets, multiple tabs. So, if you look at next to the homepage there, I've got data modeling, okay? And we're going to start to have a look at a little bit of that next week. But for this week, we're just going to bring in these XML files and start to select the different columns in the XML files that are going to be relevant to us. So I want you to think about Power BI Desktop as the tool that you're going to use to model the data and do the modeling. And then what we're going to do is we're going to publish it on the right-hand side of my home menu. There you can see publish or share, right? When we click on that, it's going to share it in Office 365, because you're doing this stuff for a reason, guys. You're doing it to share the reports with other people. Okay, so what are we going to do? Are you going to email out a spreadsheet? No, nearly every spreadsheet report that I've received in my professional career of, dare I say it, 20 plus years, by the time I've received the damn report, guess what? It's out of date. It's out of date. Mm-hmm. So what I can do here is I can share it in Office 365 through Power BI, and it'll refresh automatically. This is one of the justifications for the E5 SKU, is that I get increased number of refreshes per day for my Power BI connectors. Okay, so in this case, I'm just looking at the Power BI desktop, and the next stage is then to share it.
Yep, and you can see what I've been working on then is I'm just going through. So that data now makes a lot more sense to me when I'm clicking on those things. I can see their last name, I can click on the details, I can see that, and I also can go to other data sets. Now, those of you who have used Zero Practice Manager before know it's really difficult to get a report that will work across each of these different data sets. So I want to do a report based on invoices and other areas and so forth. It gets really difficult to pick up those and combine those other areas. So it's saying I can't display them, so it doesn't like that particular link. So we're doing lots and lots of modeling, and we're starting the process of modeling that data. But in this case, all I want to do really quickly for everybody is I want to go and publish this data. And we'll click save. And I'm going to publish it, and I'm going to run some quick insights. So I've already done that. I'm now going to go and open up my online version. Actually, I'll just let that run roll. It's going to be quicker to do that. Let it run. I'm going to run that in my, so I'm updating my thing. I'm going to replace that data set that's in there, and it's going to publish, and then I can go and open up my Power BI in my workspace, and I can see that information. So whilst that's doing that, it shouldn't take it very long.
Shouldn't take too long, although we are using quite a bit of your bandwidth for the call, which means we may have a lag here of some degree because we're busy presenting screens and publishing stuff to the cloud all simultaneously. So for everybody who's in Office 365 at the moment, what I'd like you to do is go to portal.office.com. When your waffle or the app launcher, we like to call it the waffle, Microsoft's official name is the app launcher, which is in the top left-hand corner. There we can see Trevor's logging on to portal.office.com. The app launcher in the top left-hand corner, if we click on that, it will bring up all the applications available to us. And one of those applications is Power BI. So then Trevor's going to click on the drop-down. In the drop-down, I've got my dashboards, my reports, and my data sets, okay? So he's actually published this as a dashboard, but he's also got an XPN data set at the bottom. So on the Turnitin XPN data set, if he clicks on the three little icons there, the ellipsis next to that, what should come up is some quick insights. So what this is going to do is look for outliers and patterns in your data, really, and try to give us some quick insights without you having to understand much about data analysis, just to give you some quick idea of what's happening with your data.
Yeah, so that's brought up those quick insights. Now, I know it's not, for most people looking at those sort of things, it probably doesn't even make sense to them on, because it's my data, but it makes a lot of sense to me, a lot of this information. I'm going, yeah, cool, that makes sense. And then all I'm doing is I'm going, yeah, I like, let me have a look at one. Right, client group by country. I can see I've got New Zealand. It's probably not, I'm trying to find something that I would like to put in there. Majority of IA clients are in the zero practice. So most of my clients, the majority is an internal type 1 client count by I, right? So most of my clients are the I return. So I might say, I want to pin that to my dashboard. I'll click it to my existing dashboard that I created before, and we'll go and have a look at some of those things that I'm picking up and pushing through to that based on those insights. So 10 accounts for the majority of the invoice, majority of tax location, so total number of invoices. So I'm getting, there's quick insights, and I can just pin those, the ones that I like, to see within there as they make sense. But if I go to my dashboard now, I can click over to my dashboard, and I can see they're the ones that I've created. If I click back to my data set, and this is where it gets really cool, I wanted to do, for example, I wanted to go and have a look at my clients, Roland, and I went to my clients, and I said, well, what clients have I got in what city? And this is really quite strange. It came through and it said they're all in North America. I said, I don't have any clients in Latham and Ormond. Those of you that know those addresses will know that they're also in Australia. Ringwood in Europe, Cromer. So then, well, that doesn't work for me. What else do I need to do? What's a unique thing that I can work with on that? And I was able to go through and say, okay, well, I need to put in postcode. Clicked on postcode.
All right. So that's something that we get in all the colonies, I'm afraid. In England, in Australia, in South Africa, there's a Kempton Park, there's a Chatswood. We, a lot of the English-speaking countries came through colonization, and we share a lot of suburb names. So, Trevor, that's a very useful insight there. What you had to do was look for uniqueness within your data set. And, strangely enough, suburbs was not uniqueness. Earlier when we did this, when we were working on our presentation, guys, Trevor brought up a map, and most of your clients were based in North America, if I'm not wrong.
That was right. Yeah, they were all in North America. Were they not? So I can look down through here now, and look, we don't have a huge amount of clients, but boy, it's exciting if you've got larger amounts of clients. I can see, I've got someone, I was looking around before saying, oh, there's someone I had on Stradbroke Island, but actually their address is Russell Island. We've got a few guys in Gold Coast. I've got, if I go down to Sydney, I might just make that a bit smaller so I can see it a lot easier.
Yep.
We can see Sydney, Gosford, those sort of areas, and I can pick that up. And I've gone, gosh, well, who's in Putty, Roland?
I wonder who would have been in Putty, who was one of your clients based out in the
no
national park in the middle
idea
of
that you
nowhere.
had to travel so far to go to and from home when you used to live out there. So one of your addresses in my system still showed the postcode there. So I have to go and have a look at it.
So who is living in the sticks there? Who could possibly be living out there, Trevor? That would have been me trying to build a yoga retreat, yes.
Yeah. But amazing.
But again, you're identifying outliers and looking at patterns there. Just with a quick analysis, Trevor, you've been able to look at your data and those, if we want, we can mash that up with the revenue. So the size of the bubbles will change based on the amount of revenue being generated by each of those clients in those geolocations.
Yeah.
So amazing insights from. What have we done, Trev? Taken 20, not even 15 minutes to try and get those types of insights for you. And if this was internal-facing data for an accounting firm, you would be able to share this as a live data, or this XPN data static, so not live. You'd have to figure out a way of updating the XML data on a daily basis. But next week we're going to do Zero Data, which has got an API and OData connected directly into Zero, and it's going to be updated regularly, and or you just hit refresh and then it pulls an update.
Yep. But even with that, Roland, I could push that data on a regular basis where I don't have it, and I could put that and have someone managing that and pushing that through to my to a SharePoint site or something like that, and I could be grabbing that data on a regular basis. So I still can get almost live from my static data with a little bit of human intervention. Get the amazing people from our team like Nick and so forth to start thinking about PowerShell scripts to run that process. Yes. All of a sudden, we've got very quickly automated systems to generate something that probably took a lot of time previously and a lot of dollars to create. Months. It does
months. You got somebody doing a report, that's taking them months to do, and like I said, by the time the report is available or published or emailed out, because normally that's what happens. Hi guys, I've just emailed out a 20 meg Excel spreadsheet which is detailing our revenue over the last 90 days. Well, it's not actually the last 90 days because you started doing that report 30 days ago, and it's taken you 30 days to get it into a format where you could publish and email it out to everybody else. So it's not real-time data, and we start looking at this with regards to sentiment stuff. What people thought about your business yesterday could have changed in the last 24 hours. What people thought about Trump and Clinton, the sentiments that they had on Facebook with regards to the presidential campaign about Trump and Clinton could have changed in the last 24 hours. Ergo, we would like that to be as up-to-date as possible. Okay, so the question from Sue is, can we get it from practice management systems like MYOBAE? Sue, the default answer is if you can export that data to a spreadsheet. You can use Power Query to create data objects and a rational database within Excel, and then pull that into Power BI desktop. So whether it's MYOBAO, AE, APS, Reckon, blah, 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 if I can get it in a spreadsheet, I should be able to pull it into Power BI. But again, it's the quality of your data. It's garbage in, garbage out. You bring me in bad data, I'm going to give you bad reports. Okay.
And also the team at Kairos are working on those.
Yes, we have got data models for that, but you may have to look at getting, getting ourselves or another partner to build up some data models for you, or subscribing to an organization or affiliation that has invested in building up those data models for their members. So that's really a strategic question for your organization. On the bottom left-hand corner, Sue, on Trevor's screen, you see where it says Get Data. Trev, I know you're going to go to Ivory Code in a moment, but could you just click on that Get Data for me one moment while your screen's up?
Yeah.
All right. So what we can see here is where I can get data from. So over on the right-hand side, I've got files and databases. That's generally fairly static data. On the services and my organization, now that to me is the holy grail, okay? I can either get content packs for my organization or people that have, and organizations that have started to realize the potential of big data. And, just between us on the phone, it's going to be a 1.2 trillion dollar industry by 2020 on a global scale. So there is revenue to be made in data analysis. But if you look at this, you can see all of the different providers of data. So I've got Bing, I've got Azure, I've got Google Data Analytics, I've got Marketo, I've got MailChimp, I've got Insightly, I've got GitHub. I can be pulling data from my Google Analytics and my website. Okay, so let's look at sentiment from Facebook, marry that up with Google Analytics as to traffic being driven to my website. Then I'll manage that up with my Stripe data. Stripe's in there, which is my credit card payments of purchases on my website. The power of this is amazing, and what we'll see is more and more people will be building up these data sources. I mean, Xero was one of the last ones to launch a couple of months ago, but they've done a bit of a soft launch. They've gone slowly, and they seem to be exposing features as and when they come up. So, Trev, let's close it down and jump back to that the Ivory Coat dashboard that we had a moment ago. So just go back to my workspace.
So everybody, just so everybody understands, this is data and a dashboard that Roland has shared with me. So think of an accountant has put together all these dashboards. He owns the dashboards, he owns the data, he owns the technology and the IP with that. He's just shared that with me. I'm a client of his. And now I've got access to see what's going on in that. Roll? I lost him.
Up in the top right-hand corner, I just went and said, there's an icon that says in the top right-hand corner, share. It really wasn't particularly difficult to do. I clicked on share there and said, who do you want to share it with? I want to share it with Trevor. Now, I'm the owner of the dashboard, but Trevor has access to the dashboard, and this is how we will use a single pane of glass to expose very in-depth data insights to your customers. And here we can see, this is a dog food company, and looking at this data, we pulled together quite a lot of different spreadsheets here, but I can tell you, that there are 26,000 Jack Russells currently registered in Australia. I can tell you where they're registered. I can tell you that a chocolate brown Labrador, as most popular names are Bella and Charlie. Charlie and Bella, top two names for a golden Labrador in Australia. So the insights here are amazing. And if you think of the business applications, we could simply change the Facebook advertising based on a geo, all right? So, for example, in Ballarat, if the most popular dog is a Jack Russell, you know what I'm going to do? When somebody looks on my Facebook site from Ballarat, or I push advertising to them from the Ballarat area, I'm not going to be putting up a Kelpie. I'm going to be putting up a picture of a Jack Russell called Eric, because Eric is the wonder dog. And people will look at that and they'll say, all right, I can relate to that. I establish an emotional connection with that straight away. I know that I do. When I look at, I got Jack Russells, when I look at pictures of Jack Russells, I'm like, I want to buy whatever they're selling. There's dog treats, but they got a picture of a Jack Russell. Yeah, you got me. And I'm a smart guy, but that emotional, they straight away get that emotional buy-in from me because they pull at my heartstrings with a picture of a cute Jack Russell. And these are the insights that Stephen and his team at Ivory Coat have been able to get from using Power BI. So that's really the rub. What are the business benefits around it? And these are the insights and business benefits. So, Trevor, I think we're out of time today. I thought it was going to be an exciting webcast.
Okay.
Well, guys, I hope that everybody on the call has had some real insights as to what Power BI can do and what big data is. Remember, it's the 3 V's, that volume, velocity, and variety of data. And being able to slice and dice that together is going to reveal secrets that are hidden in spreadsheets and hidden in practice management software at the moment. And we're just going to coax out those secrets. So, Trevor, I'd like to thank you very much for your time today, and everybody on the call for joining us. Next week, we're going to be looking at mashing data together. Okay, so we're going to be pulling in Zero Practice Manager data and zero data. So there, I've got some static data and some dynamic data, and we're going to be looking at publishing that on a dashboard. So if you know anybody who would be interested in learning about this, and for those of you who are running accounting firms, I'm sure you'll find somebody in your organization who you can tap on the shoulder and say, hey, I would like you to skill up a little bit in Power BI, because the partners on the call may not have the time to do that. That the partners running the practices may not have the time to do that. But I tell you what, if there's some person in your organization who you think has the aptitude to pick up this skill, get them on the call next week and let them learn and help them to grow. You know, leaders should be judged by how those around them succeed, not how they themselves succeed. So if you're a leader, get someone on the call and get them skilled up. So with that, Trevor, thank you very much.
And just to finish that off, guys, basically,
yes.
Every time I get some sort of information from anybody nowadays, I am searching, can I get that information into Power BI, because it's so much easier to manage. So, stop trawling through those spreadsheets and stop trawling through that data. Start letting Power BI do it for you. So it's awesome.
Awesome.
Catch you later, guys.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, everybody. Cheers, guys. Have a great week.